January 7th, 1943. New York City. Room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. An 86-year-old man lies alone in a dark room. Within hours of his final breath, government agents rush in. They don't mourn. They don't pray. They start packing. Trunks, papers, notebooks, inventions. More than 80 trunks of documents and devices are seized. Many of them are still classified as threats to national security. The man who died in that room was Nikola Tesla. He's the reason the lights in your room turn on. The reason your fans spin, your fridge runs, your city glows at night. Alternating current, AC power. That was Tesla. Wireless communication, remote control, neon lights, electric motors, transformers, hydroelectric plants at Niagara Falls. Tesla's fingerprints are on all of it. And yet this man who changed the world died broke. He had been living in that hotel for 9 years, drowning in unpaid bills, unable to even pay for his own food. Now think about this for a second. People who build food delivery apps and cab booking platforms become billionaires. Tesla, the man who literally electrified civilization, died with debt notices on his nightstand. It wasn't just a tragedy, it was an assassination. Not a bullet to the head, but 3 slow, calculated assassinations over one lifetime. To see the first one, we have to go back. Thomas Edison, the hero of your school textbooks, the man who failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. You know that quote, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the Edison you were taught. Now let me show you the Edison Tesla met. Before electricity, cities lived in the dark. Candles, gas lamps, oil. In 1878, Edison founded the Edison Electric Light Company. In 1879, he introduced the first practical light bulb. Revolutionary, but there was a catch. Edison's system ran on direct current, DC. DC could only travel about 2 to 3 kilometers before losing power. That meant power stations had to be built every couple of kilometers. Expensive to build, expensive to maintain. And of course, those costs were pushed onto the customers. But because there was no alternative, Edison's DC became the standard. He built a monopoly, and he made a fortune. Then, in 1887, Nikola Tesla entered the game. He started his own company and introduced alternating current, AC. Where DC could only travel a couple of kilometers, AC could travel hundreds. Where DC was expensive, AC could be generated and transmitted far more cheaply. Slowly, people started shifting. DC looked primitive. AC looked like the future. Then came the deal that should have made Tesla the world's first billionaire. In 1888, industrialist George Westinghouse approached Tesla. Tesla sold him the patents for AC. In return, he received $60,000 in cash, company shares, a salary of $2,000 a month, and one more thing: a royalty of $2.50 for every horsepower of AC power sold. When Tesla's AC system started winning, Edison didn't try to improve DC. He tried to destroy AC. His strategy was simple and cruel. If people believed AC was deadly, they'd be too scared to accept it. So Edison launched a brutal PR campaign. He publicly electrocuted animals, dogs, cats, even an elephant, using AC. Then told the crowd, "This is what Tesla's current does." Imagine watching that in the 1880s. No internet, no fact-checking. You'd be terrified of AC. But Tesla didn't back down. He stood in front of a live audience, calmly passed AC through his own body, and walked away unharmed. He proved that handled correctly, AC was safe. For years, this current war raged: DC versus AC, Edison versus Tesla. Then came 2 events that changed everything. First, the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. The organizers needed someone to power the entire event. 2 candidates: Edison's General Electric with DC, or Westinghouse with Tesla's AC. Westinghouse underbid Edison, promising to do it for about half the price. They took the risk. They chose Tesla's AC system. That night, more than 200,000 light bulbs lit up at once. People who had only known darkness saw a glowing city powered by AC. In that moment, Tesla's vision didn't just win technically. It won emotionally. Second, the Niagara Falls project. Engineers wanted to harness the power of the falls to provide electricity to cities like Buffalo. DC couldn't handle the distance. Tesla's AC could. In 1895, Tesla's AC system successfully transmitted electricity from Niagara Falls to Buffalo, around 30 to 40 kilometers away. It was something DC simply couldn't do. At this point, the war of currents was effectively over. AC had won. Today, nearly 90% of the world's electrical systems still run on alternating current. So Tesla should have been on top of the world. He had the better system, the patents, the royalties, the recognition. But this victory planted the seeds of his first assassination. To compete with Edison, Westinghouse had slashed prices, fought legal battles, and taken on huge loans, especially for Niagara. The company was under massive financial pressure. At the same time, Tesla's royalties kept rising. And remember, these royalties weren't based on profits. They were based on revenue. So even if Westinghouse was losing money, Tesla still got paid. George Westinghouse went to Tesla and said, in effect, if this royalty agreement continues, my company may collapse. If Westinghouse dies, AC dies with it. Edison's DC could come back and take over. If you want to save your invention and humanity, you have to help. Tesla stood there with a choice. On one side, the contract that would make him a billionaire. On the other, the survival of his technology and the dream of cheap electricity for everyone. Most people would renegotiate, ask for less, delay payments, protect themselves. Tesla didn't. He took the royalty agreement, the very deal that could have made him the richest man on earth, and tore it up. No courts, no lawyers, no bargaining, just gone. Why? Because Tesla wasn't wired like everyone else. He worked 20 hours a day, he lived alone, he never married. He spent almost every dollar he earned on experiments. He genuinely believed money itself didn't matter. What mattered was progress, inventions, humanity. Tearing up that contract didn't just cost him a fortune. It made him financially vulnerable. And that vulnerability opened the door to the next, even bigger betrayal. Tesla had just saved Westinghouse, but he had no idea the system he helped survive was going to slowly kill him. So understand how deep this betrayal went. We have to talk about a tower. Break time 0.9s. Wardenclyffe. You've probably seen the pictures. A strange metal tower on Long Island with a dome on top. Break time 0.9s. Most articles mention it in one sentence and move on. But this tower was Tesla's biggest dream. Tesla claims that with Wardenclyffe, he could send not just messages, but emphasis level moderate electricity wirelessly across the world. No wires, no meters, no meters, no electricity bills. He believed he could make phone calls, transmit images, send information and power through the earth and atmosphere. If Wardenclyffe had been completed, your life today would not revolve around utility bills. But that tower was never finished. Imagine what the going on. The US government eventually tore it down and sold it for scrap. So what happened? If this project was so revolutionary, why kill it? Enter J.P. Morgan, one of the most powerful financial financiers, apologist. Enter J.P. Morgan, one of the most powerful financiers on the planet. Tesla pitched him a global wireless communication system that would outclass everything else. At that time, sending messages over distance was slow, physical, and messy. A scientist named Marconi was experimenting with radio. Break time 0.9s. Tesla basically said, give me the funds and I'll build something far beyond Marconi, a wireless communication system for the world. Morgan liked the idea. He invested around $150,000, a massive sum back then. Tesla started building his tower. But Wardenclyffe was ambitious. The money ran out. Break time 0.7. Tesla went back to Morgan and said, I need more funding. This time, he told Morgan the full truth. He explained that Wardenclyffe wasn't just for communication. It could transmit electricity wirelessly across great distances.
At first, Morgan was excited.
At first 7, more services, more money, right? So he asked a simple question. If the electricity is wireless, where do we put the meter? Tesla's answer? There won't be any meters. The electricity is free. We'll build towers around the world so that anyone, anywhere, can tap into unlimited power. Break time 0.6s. For you and me, that sounds like a miracle. For J.P. Morgan, a man whose empire was built on controlling energy, fuel, and infrastructure, that sounded like a disaster. maybe it's all coincidence. Or maybe it isn't. Because what happened next wasn't about one old man in a hotel room. It was about his ideas and how dangerous they were to the people in power. After Tesla's death, the US government moved fast. 80 trunks of documents, devices, and personal effects were seized. Patents, lab notes, medals, prototypes, things Tesla had worked on for decades. And the agency that seized much of it? The Office of Alien Property Custodian. There's just one problem. Nikola Tesla was a US citizen. This office was supposed to handle property of foreigners considered national security risks. So why was it handling Tesla's work? The answer seems to involve another man, Tesla's nephew, Sava Kosanovich. He was Yugoslavia's ambassador to the US at the time. Influential, connected, politically aligned toward the communist world, closer to the Soviet Union. World War II was still raging. The US and the Soviet Union were allies on paper, but everyone knew there'd be a power struggle afterward. Washington was terrified that Tesla's papers might end up in Soviet hands, so they stepped in, hard. But what were they so worried about? One answer lies in a hotel, and a mysterious box. Before he moved to the New Yorker, Tesla stayed at the Governor Clinton Hotel. He couldn't afford his bills there either. Debts were piling up. So Tesla gave the hotel owner a locked wooden box as collateral. He told him, "Inside this box is one of my inventions, worth millions of dollars." He called it the Death Ray. Tesla claimed this weapon could destroy 10,000 airplanes at a distance of hundreds of kilometers. He warned the owner never to let it fall into the wrong hands. Years later, when Tesla died, the government didn't just clear out his room at the New Yorker. They also went back to the Governor Clinton Hotel and took the box. The man assigned to examine Tesla's belongings? John Trump, an electrical engineer, and yes, the uncle of future US President Donald Trump. When he opened the box, the truth was embarrassing. No superweapon, no sci-fi death beam. Inside was a simple 45-year-old resistance box, an ordinary electrical component dressed up in a mysterious case. The government used this as proof. See? Tesla wasn't building any real weapons. There's nothing here. Nothing dangerous. Nothing valuable. But that's not the whole story. In Belgrade at the Nikola Tesla Museum, a document was found years later titled, "The New Art of Projecting Concentrated Non-Dispersive Energy Through Natural Media." Inside, technical details for a kind of particle beam weapon. Even John Trump himself later admitted that some of Tesla's letters to foreign governments described technology far ahead of its time. Decades later, the US launched Star Wars, a strategic defense initiative using directed energy concepts that sounded suspiciously similar to Tesla's ideas. In 2014, Israel unveiled the Iron Beam, a laser-based defense system that many experts said looked like a modern version of what Tesla had described. And in 1937, standing in the New Yorker hotel, Tesla said this about his death ray, and I quote, "It is not an experiment. I have built, demonstrated, and used it. Only a little time will pass before I can give it to the world." So, was the death ray just a con for hotel debt? Or was the con just a decoy to hide something far more dangerous? After Tesla's death, his family kept asking for his belongings back. In 1952, the US finally returned some trunks to Yugoslavia. But out of more than 80, they returned only 7. More than 70 trunks of his work simply vanished into government archives. In 1975, the Tesla Museum formally requested the rest. No answer. In 2016, some documents were declassified. Not all, not even most. Even now, the official reason for keeping the rest secret is national security. Think about that. A man who died in 1943, whose technology was supposedly outdated, and his work is still considered dangerous in the 21st century. Tesla wasn't just assassinated financially. He wasn't just erased in death. His legacy was assassinated too. Open any school textbook. You'll find Edison, Einstein, Marconi. Tesla? If he appears at all, it's a paragraph. A side note. Our society celebrates innovation, as long as it doesn't threaten the people who profit from the old systems. If your invention fits the economic order, you're a visionary. If it threatens that order, you're dangerous, unstable. Tesla once said, "The present is theirs, the future is mine." He knew the system would never celebrate him while he was alive, but he believed that one day the future would look back and recognize who really did the work. The question is, have we reached that future yet? Or are we still living in the version of reality where truly revolutionary ideas are locked away in vaults, while we clap for slightly better phones and slightly thinner laptops? Nikola Tesla wasn't just a man, he was a warning. A warning about what happens when one human being dares to build something that benefits everyone, but threatens the few who control everything. This was the life and the 3 assassinations of Nikola Tesla. You've been watching Field. Don't just scroll away. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who still thinks history is what's written in school textbooks. I'll see you in the next one.